How's it going, friends and family? Welcome back to the Real AFTV podcast show about fishing random takes from around 10,000 lakes. I typically do a quick intro like that because this is a second half to a larger podcast. If you're listening to this on Friday, thank you. You must have found us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and then check it out. Like, there's one big thing of this. You know, it's like 2 hours or something like that. Not just the short little takes. But anyways. Summertime. We are going to talk about our breaks that we took.
Your fucking mouth. Oh, is it? I heard. Was that wrong? Am I not supposed to swear like at the beginning of the YouTube video?
Oh, yeah. I don't give a fuck about that because there's two reasons. One, if you're here, like, subscribe, all that stuff. We need more subscribers so we can actually do something more with the channel.
Right.
So, no, right now it doesn't fucking matter. But
that's right.
Also, fuck that. We're going to talk however we want.
And
if the algorithm doesn't want to bump it up because of that.
Swear right away. Like, I'm allowed to swear as much as I want later in the video, but if I swear right away, then it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, the AI only listens to the first couple of seconds, and then they're just like, whatever.
Right. Yeah. You can get into the logistics, but I don't want to because I totally get why. And it's whatever. So, yeah.
Sure.
Fuck that. We're going to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Okay. So we actually took breaks. I don't know if the audience noticed or if we said it enough or whatever, but the podcast didn't take a break. We kept on schedule with the podcast.
Yes.
But there's been a lot of shifting around of the schedule of our schedules this summer in order to keep the podcast on because there's been breaks that we've taken.
If there was any topical stuff that we touched on, you know, where I think like the iCast may have came out like 2 weeks after iCast happened, late. That kind of stuff. Sure. Yeah, where it wasn't quite on point, and that's because we were hopping around, you know, kind of recording when we could. So we recorded the iCast one like right when iCast happened.
Yeah, we were like days behind it, but because of the schedule and scheduling, Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that kind of stuff. Like, if you've noticed any of that, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Not us just being like, oh, whatever, we'll do it 3 weeks late. No, we did it on time. It just the way the episodes were released, it's just how it happened.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I went to Montana. And so we had to schedule around that because that was big. I didn't know if I was going to have internet in order to drop it. So we had to record it and schedule it right away.
Sure.
Like, I couldn't edit on the road or anything like that because, who knows where you're going to get internet. And at the size of the podcast, you have to have a good size internet connection. You can't depend on some shitty hotel internet that's like, you know, spotty.
Right.
And I can't use my data connection on my phone because even though I have unlimited data, there's a speed cap on it.
Right.
You know, and it's like, I would rather have Google Maps load quickly while I'm on this road trip instead of, burning it all on uploading the podcast.
Yeah. So, and who's to say that you'd even have service to use that?
It's true. Yeah. I mean, out there in Montana, and it was mostly interstate, but yeah, it's very true. There's still just spots of it where you just nothing to.
Right. Yep.
So, yeah.
I'm supposing that there's not a lot of cell phone towers out in the mountains.
No, we had no service and no internet actually where we ended up staying.
Damn, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a nice getaway though.
Yeah. It was pretty nice. I played Zelda in the woods.
Disconnected from the world. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, because I remember I did try to send you a message one of those days.
You did.
And it was like, can't go through. And it was because you didn't have service. And we were just like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. I remember because I got quite a few. It still took a while. Once we got down, it still took a while down the mountain until we got service. And then I got quite a few things in.
Nice.
But yeah, I remember talking to you like a couple days later, a text that was clearly from a few days ago because I got it at like, it was like a Zelda text at like 2:30 on a Monday. And I'm like, I know I know, right? Like, I know the general area that he's in. It's definitely not a brand new text.
Right. Yeah. Now I remember too. Yeah, because I was definitely like, hey, when you get to this place,
Yeah,
do
that's what it
this
was.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Yep. That's great.
Yeah.
So
So what was that? What was that like?
yeah.
Did you get to spend any time to yourself? I know you went down there for a wedding.
Right. And
Did you?
a first time road trip.
Oh, with the
Well,
little
okay, the
one.
only other time we went on a road trip was when we took our families down to
Yeah.
uh the
To
Bassmaster
Wisconsin.
in
Yep.
Wisconsin. Yep.
Yep.
That was our true first road trip, which was like,
Okay.
I think that was like 5-6 hour road trip or something like that, 4 or 5.
Okay. Yeah.
So decent.
Right. But
Um,
what?
but
How
this was
was
14 total.
14?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's a long haul. I know we are road tripping it to Florida in October.
Oh
So
shit, you are?
hell yeah, dude. My
Nice.
son, like, he might not like the road trip, but that dude wants to see the beach so bad. So it's like, dude, this is what we gotta do. And we are gonna stop once, but it's gonna be your road trip one day, plus like another 8 the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
So we
So
split the 14 into 2 stops.
did you?
We did. We had
I
to.
plan
Like,
on
oof, we
my
had to.
plan is to get done with work on Thursday, and I told my wife, I'm just like, you guys eat on your own, because I'm gonna eat on my drive home from work.
Yep.
I'm gonna take some freaking melatonin. I'm gonna pass out as soon as I can, and then I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to get up very early. We're gonna have everything loaded,
Yep.
and just like, I'm gonna get up early, and so are you guys. But then you can go back to sleep.
But you
in the
guys can
car,
go back sleep in the car, and you're
because
gonna
that's
drive.
gonna help. That's gonna help him a lot
Yep.
if he can sleep for like the first 3 hours.
Yep.
And I might have to look into like a head strap or something, because I don't want him like for
Yeah, you're
some of the
that
time
one's
it's
just
like,
that's for all the parents out there. You know what Tim did with his head there. If
yeah,
you were
they're
just
just
listening to
like,
the podcast, otherwise go
yeah,
look at the video. Because
chins
I know.
chin to chest, and it's just like, is that, I heard, start getting in your own head, like, just like, well, believe what you will about Jesus being real or not, but I heard that he actually died from asphyxiation because his arms were up and his chin was down, and it wasn't blood loss. That dude just couldn't breathe because his chin was to his chest, but I think his arms were up.
That's
And
also a starving person, though. Like someone with
right,
muscle and like
right,
in good neck health, they're gonna be okay.
right. Yeah,
He'll be all right.
I would hope so. I'm not too nervous about it, but it's like, I would like to, is there some sort of a thing that I could just somehow keep his head up?
I would.
Is there like
So
a suction cup?
this is the stupidest thing, but I was thinking of like one of those really long suction cup arrows that has like the suction cup on both sides, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like he's got a DVD player in front of him, stick it to that, and then it just 3 feet across the back of the car or truck, stick to his forehead.
Dude, now I'm thinking of like, you ever seen those old school like cartoony arrows where it's like an arrow, but then there's like a headband, and then like the other
the headband arrow that you put on
I put that on like front to back, and then like just attach the back, so he's like leaning like this, and then anybody driving by just sees this lifeless body with an arrow through its head, like, oh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
Just be like, I'd be fucked until I got to Florida. And then once I was in Florida, if he's sleeping like that, we would just be like, it's another day in Florida.
Yep. Just wave it off. No big deal here.
Yep. Hey, whatever, man.
You might want to look into like a child-sized travel pillow though, like one of those neck pillows, dude.
Oh yeah,
I wonder.
we got a Mickey Mouse one, but it doesn't help keep his head up.
It
Like
doesn't?
they no, because he's like sitting. He always falls forward.
Oh,
Like the pillows
he's a
here.
straight chin to chest,
Yeah,
like no doubt,
yeah.
straight up and down.
So I wonder if there was like if it wrapped around a little bit more. Like the one he
Yeah.
has doesn't wrap all the way around. It's kind of in the back, so it's like a nice, like
Yep.
if he puts his head back, but he always falls.
Yeah, it keeps your
forward.
neck nice and supported. So like if you can hit a backrest, it's got support, and
Yeah,
if you can lean your head left or right, it's a pillow on your shoulder.
right.
But you're saying, yeah, he's just a straightforward.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yeah. So I wonder if there's something we could get with that. But that's a topic for a different time. That's the road trip we plan on doing. So
Yeah. Well, it's all related because that's like we stacked it. And that's the thing is like so we did two parts. We got to like the edge of the mountains. So we drove from, like central Minnesota all the way through North Dakota, all the way through Montana, and then we stopped in like the last big city before you head into the mountains, which is still a ways out. It's not like when we're staying there, you can see the mountains. No.
Sure.
No. It's just once you start driving, the plains get rolly. There's still a lot of farmland and a lot of cattle and all this other stuff, but things just start to roll.
Sure.
And so you have to go through all that.
Forever.
Say that
again? I just said it's just not flat forever.
Right. Yeah.
Now you're starting to get a little bit more to look at, which is still cool, Like
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful driving. Loved it. Loved the driving. It's like loved the driving atmosphere of it and everything. But we pushed too hard for my daughter a couple times. She was
really?
fine and she did great. Like I couldn't ask for more from her. That's for sure. But the last 10 minutes of our way into the mountains, she was just freaking out, pretending she had to pee, so we would stop. And then she wouldn't go because she's potty trained for peeing.
Right.
So she didn't want to go in a diaper. So we'd take her out. She went pee. We said, "Can we put you in a diaper for the last little bit?" "No, I don't. No pee in my undies. No pee in my diaper." "No." "Okay, fine." And we drive 10 minutes and she's freaking out. "I have to pee. I have to pee." "You just went pee." It was totally your typical like road trip kid thing, except for she was using it because she was uncomfortable. She didn't want to be sitting anymore.
Right. Just stop the freaking car.
Yeah, that's exactly what she was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there's just so much to it. Now I know you have a 5-year-old and it's different, but like you have to get to this point where they're little kids, like that's the connection. And that's why it was mostly a road trip for us. We didn't really chill. I chilled for one day while the girls got ready for the wedding, and I chilled out on the balcony. I just had a nice day in the sun, Zelda, and a Pepsi. Like that was it. It was great,
nice,
but it was only for like 2-3 hours. Then I had to get ready for the wedding too,
Sure.
So
I get it. Yeah, it's like it was a road trip, but it was like a road trip with purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had very much in like timelines and intent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we have finally hit the point of having enough time saved up where we can actually just take some time off to do not much.
Right.
Because that's
bitching.
I mean, COVID hit and my son was old enough that he was in daycare and it was just zapped us of all of our time, and we've been playing catch up until now, really, where it's just like all of our vacation time was gone.
Right.
And we've been just trying to get it to a point where we, had enough saved up where it's not, we learned from COVID that it was like, we can't have nothing. We have to have, be able to go on our trips and have some stuff to fall back on.
Right.
In case they start doing, well, there's a person was sick in a room that your son was in shortly after or whatever. And you're just
Right.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and now I gotta have him home for fucking 4 days.
Right.
Or whatever, and test him and make sure he didn't get anything. Like that shit was crazy. So we were at home constantly. So obviously everybody knows about that shit, but it was like it happened so many times at our daycare.
Right. That it taught you like you gotta bank some. You can't just get 40 hours and go on a week-long vacation.
And not,
you gotta bank something on top of it. Yeah.
And not just learning that, but we legitimately had no time left. We were down to nothing.
Yeah, like you guys were down to zero. So I remember that.
It was,
I was like, fuck,
it was both. So it's like we need to gain it back and then some before we're set up. So we took a week off for our little summer break, and then we got another week off here in October.
Nice.
So yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But our break consisted of just spending a week at the cabin, and then it ended up being awesome. the hottest days of the year.
Like you just said in the fishing topic, like it was seriously. Did you guys hit 100 up there? We did down here.
I think it was close. The heat index was over 100 for sure, but I don't know if it actually ever registered 100.
Okay.
But those couple of days were pretty gnarly because we sleep in the second floor of an unair conditioned cabin.
Yep. It's on the lake. I mean, it's a minimal living situation on a lake for a reason. It's a cabin.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're just like, just underwear, fan on full blast right on you, just like, oh shit. And just like, so you're just not sleeping well from the night before, just waking up. And yeah, it was, I'm not complaining. I was still on vacation and stuff, but it sucked that happened to be, I had all these plans to be, progressive and get shit done or productive, not progressive, productive.
Yeah.
And then just the heat hits and you're just like, ugh,
you're like, I'm on vacation. No way.
We're going to be in the lake all day. That's what we're doing today.
Yep. Floating. We're floating.
That's it. We'll get out every once in a while to do our best to dry off so we can reapply sunscreen. But you're sweating so bad. You're like, I can't even really put sunscreen on.
Like, what's the point? The sunscreen is just sweating off too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so it was pretty gnarly. Ended up going into town to get Dairy Queen the one day because we're like, yes. And then we walk in, Dairy Queen's got AC on.
Right.
And just like, oh, it's cold on the outside and it's cold on the inside. So that was nice because that was a humid heat too, man. It was
because that's what you said about the heat index being over 100, even though we didn't register it. I mean, it was like 105 on some days, and it was like 97 degrees.
I think
air temperature.
That's what we hit. I know it was like 98 real temp when I looked, in like 105 heat index for sure.
Yep.
I don't know if it got to 100, but we were right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was nasty. But I was out there and I had all that time and I brought my smoker up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I smoked ribs one day and I smoked, I made beer can chicken.
Dude, that's on my goal of things to do, like my personal list of things to barbecue and stuff. We're gonna have to bring that topic up later here. Down.
It worked out. It was real good stuff. I definitely
did you leave the beer in it? Like, did you really do it like pop the top and leave the beer in it?
Oh yeah, we have two different holders. Because we used to do it on the grill, and my parents got rid of the big grill for whatever reason.
Oh.
It used to work perfect, but I think they just wanted to save some space. But I brought the smoker up, so it just, made the beer can chicken with the actual, beer can in them with the moisture and whatnot, and just seasoned them up nice and put them in there and smoked them for. Whatever it happened to be, like 3 hours or whatever. I had a couple of other plans that kind of fell through. I wanted to make a couple of baked potatoes in there.
In the smoker?
Yeah, in the smoker. There's recipes to make smoked baked potatoes, but it takes like 4 to 6 hours or some shit. I forgot. And when I remembered, I was like, oh, damn, I was supposed to start those before the chicken. And just like, well, I guess we'll do something different with the potatoes.
Yep.
So yeah, the smoker's still up there. I still have some plans. I think over Labor Day weekend, I'm going to get a pork butt, which is like a roast, and it's actually the shoulder, I believe.
It is.
And I saw a video of where you can like butterfly, like cut it in half and butterfly it.
Oh.
And it looks just like baby back ribs, but they're completely boneless.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you can like, and then I saw that they took that and they like sliced it up and put that on a sandwich.
McRib,
And I was like,
dude.
hell yeah. Except for it's like real,
but
like
it's
sliced
real.
smoked pork. Like, ooh, man, I'm ready to try that on
Hell yeah.
Try that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm gonna get some of that pork. Yeah.
Fucking snap a picture of that. That can be one of our 26 photos or videos that we've been trying to get up here on the channel
right
for this year.
That's a good I didn't even think about taking a picture of anything that I was making. I should have been doing
these
that.
ribs
Damn,
on there.
dude, I feel like honestly
Here's the rich man's McRib.
I've mentioned it to you, but like I have ADD and I feel like I honestly want to get on some meds, because it's not necessarily just the ADD, but I think long COVID is a thing, and I feel like I've been in a fog that I have not been able to get out of for who knows how long, where I just don't even think of stuff, where I'm just like, oh, obviously, duh, why am I not taking pictures of things? Shit, dude, I don't know why. Every once in a while, I got some stuff to put on Instagram, and there's a random one where I caught a perch fry on my jigging wrap.
How in the hell?
It's like an inch long, dude. It could have been a walleye. I don't know. It looks like a perch because it's got the little lines, but it's stabbed like that. It's dead.
It's dead.
Because it got speared through the side with what for it was just a massive metal rod, just
for the size of your hook and the size of the baby fish.
Yep. Right.
It might as well have just had a flagpole rammed through its side of its head.
Yeah, don't feel too bad. I know sometimes there's those bleeding hearts out there that are just like, I can't believe you killed that fish. Hey, you know what? I caught some perch. You know what I found in its stomach? Smaller perch. They're out there eating each other. Stop being so like, oh, what the cannibals? They get a little bit hungry. They see a smaller version of themselves and they just swallow it whole. And that fish that gets swallowed whole does not die immediately. It takes a little while. It's not a, necessarily painless death.
Right.
Mine,
did you send me that video, that pike with the fat belly on it? There's no way. Did I not? Okay, I might have seen this on shorts then. This is fucked up because I don't know how to share them with you.
Okay.
Dude, because you said it doesn't die right away. So they go, they got this pike with just this big old gut on it, and they're squeezing it and they're pushing it, and they're like, oh yeah, there's something in there. So we're just going to cut into the belly right away. And we're going to see what's in there. He goes, don't know what's in there, but I got a guess. And it's probably of the shelled variety. And so they squeeze it. Okay. Yep. Here it is. And he just takes the flay knife and 2-3 cuts in it, gets through the skin into the belly, cuts it out. Out comes a bluegill. Whoa, that is a big bluegill. Flop, 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 flop. That bluegill still alive, dude, and it went nuts on the table.
Yeah. See that? They swallowed and that thing was not dead. It takes a while.
And it was a good sized bluegill too, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's crazy.
It was
See, that's what I'm talking about. I impaled that one. His game over immediately. Just done.
Right.
Yeah. So that was crazy. But anyways, back to because I teased it a little bit in the other half. So we got to get back to talking about 2 things. I'll talk about fishing and what actually was happening out there and what I went down on. So like what I went down on, that sounded weird. Whoops. Anyways, I'm out there fishing, right? 4th of July, I went out and I caught my biggest walleye ever, new personal best. It was a 26 incher. Yep. That's like a 6.5 pound walleye. So that's a big walleye, That's one of the biggest fish I've ever caught. I've caught I've caught pike bigger than that by a little bit, and I've caught muskies that are way bigger than that.
Right.
But I've never caught a bass that's 6.5 pounds. So
Right.
that's, it's one of the biggest fish. But so I didn't bring up where I caught it at first because I didn't know if it was a fluke or not. I didn't want to just be like, hey, isn't this weird? Because I had a theory.
Okay.
And I really got to dig into this theory.
Okay.
So in the middle of summer, the water gets warm. And we're talking hot, It was hot that whole week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was hot during the 4th of July.
It was.
And people are out there fishing deep water. They're going real deep. They're like, the walleyes go even deeper when it gets hot like this.
Okay.
They're retreating out deeper and stuff. And I was just like, I've been fishing the weed edge. That's kind of where I'm comfortable. I'm doing
this stuff. Is on the 4th, right?
This is on the 4th and this last when I had the week off.
Okay.
Because I wanted to really see, like, okay, I was able to do this with the personal best. Was that a fluke? Mm-hmm. Was that big fish there and nobody's ever caught it because that big fish is just where you weren't expecting it? Or what? Mm-hmm. I caught that big fish in like 12 to 13 feet of water in the weeds.
Yeah, you teased this. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
everyone's out there in 20, 25 feet or some shit.
Everybody's out there and like I was catching small walleyes like crazy in 17 feet. So that's why when I really started trying to think outside the box, I'm like, do I go way deeper or do I go shallower or what? And I'm always on here, and I've said it a couple of times that like the weeds, when the weeds get thick, they can be like 10 degrees cooler. And I'm like,
that's right.
Let me see if there's like some fish that are just like up here chilling out, seeing, like what's up in these weeds. And I went up in those weeds and I caught a 26-inch walleye on the 4th of July at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So they went up there and it went up early. So I'm like, all right, maybe they just come up here to feed early. Who knows? And I got to really play around with that in the summer or like my summer break.
In your summer break. Yeah. Yeah.
So I go out there and I repeat it, right? In a different spot on the lake. I'm in like 11 feet of water.
Okay.
And I'm catching fish, and I'm catching better fish than what I've been catching out deep. I haven't been catching like good eater size.
Right.
So I catch one and I'm like, hell yeah, I catch 2, 3, and I'm up to like 5, 6 walleye, and it's going
all in the
like
boat,
real
all
good.
Dead, ready to get eaten. No, I'm fucking
all fucking murdered. But no, I was like, I'm keeping all these fish, right?
Yeah.
So I'm keeping all.
How many can you have? How many walleyes can you have on your lake?
You can have 6 per person. Yeah, the limit is 6 per person. So I'm
But yeah, so you're catching good eaters, going for your limit.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I go out and I catch those ones the night before, right? Or like really throughout the whole day, the day before. I catch them in the morning, I catch them in the evening, I catch them like whatever.
All hiding in the weeds. Okay.
Yeah, so then I go out and I'm in like the same spot, but I moved a little bit. And I'm mid-afternoon. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
There's wind, but there's not much clouds and stuff. And the way the wind is blowing, I'm like, the most aggressive fish are right here. Like this is where it should be, in 11 feet of water. And I'm finding some pockets is what I'm doing. I'm finding thick weeds. And with the depth finder, I was able to find some spots where like there just wasn't weeds.
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh, there's a little spot where they could just be like waiting for something to come across or whatever. I don't know necessarily what the plan is. And I went out, and remember, my personal best is 26. That day, mid-afternoon, boat traffic all over the place. It was windy, but I think the wind helps it. I caught a 22-inch walleye in 11 feet.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, so I went and I'm just like, hell yeah. And I just wanted to go out and catch one more fish. I was like, let me go see, because I was like, I got to clean these fish that I got.
Right.
Let me go see if I can catch one more decent one. And then I go catch the biggest one of the week. Mid-afternoon, where I was just hoping to get like one more eater.
Right.
And that one I did keep. I know 22 is getting a little bit big for a keeper, but I was just like, I wanted to get some walleye fillets that would work well to like throw in the smoker too. I didn't get a chance to smoke those, but I was like, that's perfect. Those are big, meaty fillets that I can keep the skin on.
Yep.
That I can do everything I need to
yeah.
like really, give it a good smoke, not get small fillets that are like way too smoky.
Right.
Get it like
yeah, they
nice
just absorb
smoke
too much of it. Yeah, you need it to only go down like when you see it on beef, you just want that smoke ring, and then all the rest of it's red inside. Sometimes, if the walleye's not big enough, if the fish isn't big enough,
exactly,
you can fuck it up pretty quickly.
And I justified it with the number of small walleyes. I've caught more walleye than I've ever caught in my life this year. Every time I go out, I'm catching like 10, 15 fish, but none of them are that big.
Sure.
So it's like, if those walleye are all able to stick around and just grow healthier, in a little while here, we're going to have a real healthy number of eaters that people are going to be ready for.
Right.
And I don't know if the fish really naturally spawn on our lake anyways. So I was like, whatever, keeping this 22-incher. I know it's a little bit big, but fuck it. Like, I think
you were in a unique situation. And also you're up there for a week, right? Like,
and
so
also, yeah. And also it's allowed. It's not like I broke any laws. I just morally feel bad about keeping bigger fish.
Right.
And this one, I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud.
Right.
You lived a good life. You're done.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, that's right. That's a good way of putting it. It's just like, there's you're like, you have morals around your fishing. And in this particular case, you had, you kind of like, you bent your rules. You didn't break them. You just kind of bent your own
I kind of bent my own rules a little bit where, I didn't have a hard, steadfast rule. I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm keeping this one.
But you also didn't cut up the fillet and then forget to smoke it by leaving it out in the sun, and a raccoon got it the next morning.
Exactly. Nope. I filleted it, and that shit's in the freezer. Yeah. I didn't want to. I wanted to like just cut it up and fillet it immediately and not have to worry about that. But I have heard that for whatever reason, like the day after, like when you let basically like, it's not rigor mortis, but it's that same kind of thing. Like the texture of the fish changes; it gets a little bit stiffer.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cooks up. So you don't want to cook it immediately, anyways. I've heard that like brand new fresh fish, like directly after you fillet it, isn't necessarily when you want to be cooking it. But I think for like sashimi, where it's like really soft, then you do. As soon as you cut that the fish off the bone, or however you want to say it, then you snack on that bitch, But that was not what I was teasing though.
What?
So what I was teasing was, because I got up in the weeds, I'm like, we got time. Let me try playing around with this and stuff. And all of a sudden I'm just like, you know what? There's an inside weed edge, right? So you have the weed edge on this lake is like 15 to 16 feet. Generally speaking, that's where the weeds kind of stop, and then beyond that is just kind of like open. So like if you're on the weed edge, it's just kind of like this wall where fish can kind of like line up on, and they're waiting. The inside weed edge is in like 8 feet, which is relatively shallow in the summer. But I was like, if I'm catching fish in 11, let's see what's up in 8. Let's try this inside weed edge, and see what happens. So we're kind of fishing, and I'm just like, maybe this is where, we learned some shit that we weren't quite sure. And I'm just trolling, going slow, but I have a crankbait on, and I'm just dragging it. And I have a tail dancer. It's like a smaller one. I'm like, maybe I'll catch a crappie, maybe I'll catch whatever. I catch a bass, I catch a rock bass, big rock bass, and kind of just be like, okay, so there's a rock bass here, whatever. My nephew catches a fish, and he's like, I got something. And I'm just like, okay. And he's like, I don't know. I think I got something. And he's like, it's tugging and stuff. And he's weird. He's like, it's not really fighting. And he gets it up, and he lands. So if you've listened to this podcast before, and I've talked about this lake, I've been fishing this lake since I've been fishing this lake since before I could drive, and I'm 38 now.
Right. So we're talking more than 20 years.
More than 20 years. And I have said that I have caught bullhead, or I've never caught a bullhead. I have only seen bullhead dead.
Yeah.
And he caught like a 2-pound yellow bullhead.
Yellow bullhead?
It was big as shit, dude.
No way.
The state record yellow bullhead is 3 pounds and 10 ounces.
Holy shit.
And he caught like a 2-pounder. So we're talking, that was a big yellow bullhead where I wanted to keep it. And it had a big scar on its side.
Oh, really?
I don't know if stuff, but it looked kind of like a weird, like almost like damage from something else, not necessarily like it got bit, but maybe it did get bit, like something just grabbed its tail.
Okay.
And wasn't able to take it out because they got the barbs and something grabbed it by the tail and it just gave it a little and then the whatever fish bit it's like, oh shit, dude. You got weapons?
Just got fucking stabbed in the mouth.
Yeah, so that was a big old shocker because I've been fishing this. I've bobber fished with live bait and everything. He was dragging a jig with a gulp alive fake minnow. So it's a very stinky minnow. So I don't know if you have to like use that stink bait. So now I'm like, all right, well,
that's what catfish go for, is that stinky shit.
Exactly. And the size of it, I was trying to be like, I think we should keep this thing. Like, there's meat on this. We should eat it. And everybody else was like, no, gross. So I had to throw it back just because everybody has this weird
the stigma that we've talked about.
This stigma. And it's like, that we just pulled that out of one of the cleanest bodies of water you've ever been in.
Right.
It's not like
you would eat any other fish out of here. So what's up with this?
Exactly. We're catching a big bullhead in this. And then my dad starts telling stories about how they used to eat them. Like grandma would cook them up and all this shit.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah.
Then what's going on here?
Then why were you one of the people telling me to throw it away? Right?
Yeah. Have you heard those gnarly stories about, like, I've heard him say it and other people where they're just like, yeah, we'd catch bullheads and then they'd put it on a wooden board and they just put a nail right through its head.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they just like grab the skin with the pliers and rip it off. And you're just like, damn, that's brutal sounding. But at least you put the nail through the head so it's not there to feel you rip its skin.
Yeah, because you should be braining it at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you're
as long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You could also just be fucking sticking it through the mouth and peeling the skin off of this fish while it's alive.
Right. While it's alive.
Oh, fuck. Anyways, a big yellow bullhead, dude. I'm so surprised. I'm so fucking surprised.
I guess technically, excuse me, speaking, it could be like a brown one. Yeah. But it was yellow.
Yeah.
It was so
we
yellow.
talked about that because there are the different shades. Yellow was
right. And I mean, I don't know how you tell for sure. All I know is that the color of it was yellow. And I was just like, yeah, that's a yellow bullhead.
That's fucking cool, dude.
And just for fun, when we were talking about like different things you can keep, or
different things you
not
can keep.
I don't know what the fuck I just said, dude. I'm getting tired.
We'll
different, like lures and whatever that you can use, and how I've said before, like if you want to catch stuff, so like it doesn't really matter if you keep fishing and you're in the right spot, maybe you'll be able to catch stuff. Braxton, I should ask if he's okay with it. I think he is. I've thrown pictures up on Instagram already. Decided to put a jig head through a Nerf dart, and he caught a rock bass using his Nerf dart jig. So he caught a pretty good rock bass off of that Nerf dart, and then it was like a jig head with a fake worm. Caught him a decent bullhead. So yeah,
on a lake where you knew they were in there, but you've never got a live one. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I'm pumped on that.
There was one time I saw one fighting with a sunfish.
That's right.
And
but
that was a weird where I don't know who was spawning, but
right.
it was weird as shit that it was up there. But I've only seen them floating once they're already dead.
Right.
So I had no idea where to catch them.
That's rad.
And at least now we got one, and it's the inside weed edge where I've almost spent no time. So it's like,
kind of makes sense.
Shallow weeds and the inside weed edge is a whole new world that is producing fish. So if you're out there and you're not having luck on where people tell you that they should be, try something outside the box because it's working out.
Well, shit, dude, I'll go up there and I'll catch some bullhead with you and cook them up if you find success.
Yeah,
and
I was really regretting it.
I'd do it.
I was really regretting it afterwards. I should have just told him, like, screw off. You guys don't need to eat it anyways. Overruled. I'll cook it myself.
Right.
I'll eat the bullhead by myself.
All right. Anything else from your trip that you wanted to share? Because we're getting long. We're getting late.
No, man. I think that's... Oh, I did. Yes. I went to the races.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So my cousin's husband, Tim Gonska, is a racer up there. He drives a race car. He's got a race car. It's like 5G, I think, is the number of his car. And dude, it was an awesome time because he's a race car driver. Mm-hmm. This raceway that they have has like these suites. So we were able to sit in these suites. Like they're not, the super night. Like don't, think you're going to like a basketball game.
Right.
But it's
its
own room.
Staples Center.
Right. And it's like plexiglassed in or whatever. So the cars are loud as hell, but you're able to have conversations. And I'm learning a lot of stuff, and it's cool watching the races, and we're actually able to talk about it. And,
that sounds
all that shit. And then it was the kids' day or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So they do their first set of races, and then they do like the features are basically like, if you do good enough in the first sets, then you move on to the next sets or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
After all those first sets, every single driver brought all their cars to the track right in front of all the stands.
Okay.
And then all the kids were allowed to go out there and like walk and look at all this stuff. And each one of the drivers brought candy. It was like walking through like a parade. So you're getting like candy. Some of them are handing out they're handing out their like postcards of themselves. So you got like the name and the car and everything.
Almost like a little baseball card kind of thing. But
yeah, exactly. Yep. And then you're getting all the different candy and everything. And they're just filling up their bags. And then you can put in your name at this table, like by the concessions and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they were giving away like bikes and scooters and shit.
Damn.
And just randomly, like my son is gonna want to go to the races all the time because we go to these races, he's getting candy,
right?
He's having fun with these other kids.
Yeah.
Randomly gets his name pulled and he won a Jurassic Park scooter.
What?
Yeah, no dude. Way, so just dude. Like it was a gnarly little like what? This couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah, no
except
kidding.
For my cousin's husband, who didn't have that good of a night. And there was like a little fender bender that like screwed up his brakes, and brakes in that is a big deal because you got to like tap the brakes to slide the car sideways because they're basically like drifting the turns.
Oh, is it sprint cars?
No, not sprint cars, but it's like a dirt track.
It's a dirt track still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're, everything besides the 4-cylinder front wheel drive cars are like sliding the ass around the turns and, they're getting, into those turns and stuff. And I just saw a post on Facebook that he was saying that finally got the car up and running.
Oh,
and this was, almost a month, I think.
Yeah.
So they've been like really trying to not up and running, but like back to normal.
It's back
like,
it's back in order now again. Finally,
because he was saying that everything got destroyed basically on that side. He said they had to replace the rotor, the caliper, the pads. He had to go and borrow a couple of brake lines from another guy close. So it was like everything with the brakes was screwed up.
Damn.
And for whatever reason, they just didn't figure it out for a while. It took them a while to figure out exactly what was going on and to get it back to the full order. So we'll probably have to try to go and see another one now.
Right.
And hope he does a little bit better. He was bummed, dude. He comes up and he's just like, dang, I wish I could have done better for you guys.
Yeah.
And we're just being like, yeah, man, I get it. It sucks. The cars, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
And then meanwhile, I'd just be like, don't feel too bad because we had fun and we won a scooter. I'm snacking on candy over here. You know, like not trying to be like,
not trying to
whatever,
like rub
dude.
It in your face that this was fucking awesome, even though you did.
Yeah,
shitty.
we had a real good time still. So like, but I'm not trying to just be like, oh, don't worry about it. I had a blast. You know?
Right.
So didn't want to, you know, exactly like you said, don't want to rub it in your face and just be like, yeah, we don't give a shit. You know? But it's like, because I did care, but I also didn't, you know, I did want him to do good for him and everything, and it'd be awesome to be like, yeah, nice work.
Right.
But I'm not just gonna be like, ugh, the fuck, Tim. You know?
Right.
But no, it was awesome. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I'll definitely go back, especially when you get to sit up in those suites, man. Like I've been to races before, but when you got the headphones on and you're just watching the shit go in circles and you can't talk to anybody next to you, so you're almost like in your own world, just like watching the cars go around, and then every once in a while you like look over at somebody else like, hey, yeah, right,
give them the thumbs up. Right. That's about
it. Keep doing the same shit.
Right.
Yeah, being able to have
like a social time about it too was
a freaking game changer, because it got a little bit weird up there. Some of those little boys went to the zoo and had some salt and vinegar crickets that they got, so they're like eating bugs and shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it was a little bit like, it was just a good time. Like none of that happens all the time, so people are eating bugs and just like this is weird. But I was loving it. I was there for every minute of it. So yeah, and just like had quite a bit of my family was out there, so that was kind of cool to see everybody. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time. I almost forgot to throw that one in there, but yeah, that was definitely a good time. So if anybody's trying to go out to them races, make friends with somebody who drives, because it's a better show when you're sitting up in those suites.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Sounds like you had a good ass break. I'm glad to hear that. It's
yeah.
I wish mine was a little bit longer in the sense of like more rest time, but it was fun. So I'm going into winter okay. I'm going into fall like I'm good. It's okay. Got a little break in there.
Right.
I'm happy with it.
Nice. Yeah, you got some break. Yeah, I'm going into fall like
can't wait.
I gotta make sure I'm trying to be like, oh, I can't, you know. We're like, oh, do you want to go out to dinner tonight or whatever? And we're just like, no. Save that money. We gotta make sure we got like extra dough if we want to do whatever. We were talking about going fishing because where we're at, a lot of the fishing is for reds. Dude, which is basically like topwater bass fishing for a lot of what I've seen.
Hell yeah.
And they fish like bass. Like you fish them like bass, but they fight like hell and
yeah, dude.
Oh man, I'm excited thinking about it, dude.
Yes, God, I hope you get to do that.
Oh man, yeah. Richard, my brother-in-law, already talked about like he wants to go fishing, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm there for it. Whatever you want. You want to go inland bass fishing in Florida? Dope.
Right.
You want to go inshore fishing like redfish and stuff? Awesome. You want to go offshore big fish? Sweet. I don't care. Let's whatever
it is.
Take your pick. I'm down for all of it.
Yeah.
But dude, I think redfish is my top, because they were talking about like that's what this time, the time of year we're going down there, and like that's
it's
their specialty.
Season,
I'm
dude.
like,
oh my God.
Hell yeah, dude.
If
I could catch a redfish, I'd be over the moon. It doesn't even need to be a big one.
Right.
But if I catch a big one, oh boy.
I think you said that in the redfish episode of like, I think you said something like it's like bass fishing. And that's why they do the redfish cup, because then with a bass fisher, because there's like the similarity.
Yeah, because you can throw like topwaters and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, dude, let's wrap this up. We're going super long. You know what? Please, if you're listening to this on a podcast, go over to YouTube, youtube.com/@realaftv. Remember, real like fish and real. Give us a subscribe. That's all we want this time. That's it. And then, you know, I mean, we got to do our normal goodbye because we never just end these podcasts like this. Are you crazy? That's not how Midwesterners behave.